Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. You know, this is my last day in Florida. I'm leaving tomorrow morning to drive back. So I said, you know something? Let me just say hello to everybody before I leave. Last night's show I thought was pretty good. If you didn't watch it, you could still watch it on the replay. I love doing shows with Melanie Little and Professor Mike Geary, especially when it pertains to law. Their knowledge is excellent. EMT 623. Good to see you. So there gets to be some, how should I put it, bombastic people in the chat that venomously disagree with us. That's a good word, venomously. Sicilian Beauty, hello, Beauty, thank you for being here. Thank you. Thanks for stopping by. What a beautiful scenery I have behind me now. This is my new the condo I'm going to come to spend the winter, but I'm going home. Texas, good morning for Texas. Where are you from in Texas, Nan? I see that American flag. So yeah, this is where I'm going to be staying in the wintertime. Tina Wright, hello. So yeah, the show last night I thought was pretty interesting, and it was of course about Bryan Kohberger and a lot of the things that the gag order produces. Milwaukee Civilian, how are you, buddy? Good show on the cult murderers. Thank you very much. Starbuck time, Roxy MMA, good morning, Sergeant Bill. Phil the Heater Guy, good afternoon, Phil. Good to see you, buddy. I find it hard to believe, and I understand Bryan Kohberger is innocent until proven guilty. I fully get it. But I also feel that there's a great deal of evidence, and some people are in the chat act as if there's not even probable cause, and that's to me a little bit disturbing. So yes, Martha Miner, thank you. Good afternoon, Sergeant Bill. Good show last night. Thank you. You know, I know that all our regular subscribers, fans, you guys love us, so we can do very little wrong. But I sometimes like, you know, when people in the opposite point of view challenge us. That's challenging, you know. And I fully admit that we are coming from the prosecutorial end. You know, police are pro-prosecution, and some of the people in the chat just get downright down and dirty. Oh, the police are dirty. They're going to create evidence. They're going to invent evidence. They're going to flake Bryan Kohberger. I don't see that happening, you know. Sicilian Beauty, I'm from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I'm friends with Karen Northington. Her daughter was Jane Canoto. I've listened to your podcast ever since this has been happening, and you, thank you so much. That was very kind of you. I know I didn't pronounce the name of your town correctly. While yet still today, good morning, Sergeant Cannon, all. Great to see you. 33 in the chat, 12 with the thumbs up. Where is everyone? You guys still sleeping? Everyone's in bed? It's 12, it's after 12. You guys should be up and about. How's the weather in New York, where I'm returning to? Today is actually the 27th of April, 2023. My Lord. The Papa Smurf, the OG. Good evening, Sergeant Cannon from Manhattan, New York City. New York City. New York City. My home. M.A. Sunshine. Good morning, Bill. Good morning. Cheers. Cheers, everyone. I'm from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, about an hour from Moscow, my friend Karen. I support you 100%. Sicilian Beauty, that's very much appreciated. Well, yet still tell you, no, Phil Grimaldi was just on the other night when we did the show in regards to Lori Vallow. He was on. We did a show Tuesday, and we did one, of course, last night with the great Melanie Little and the great Professor Mike Geary. So, yeah, it's, last month I didn't do as many shows, mainly because there wasn't a lot of great breaking news, you know. He Tuesday night he was on, Phil Grimaldi was on. Martha Miner, thank you. You know, there has to be humor in things, even when things are very serious. Everyone, I think, loves to laugh, loves to have a little chuckle. And, you know, these are serious topics we cover, but some people just, maybe they don't have a sense of humor. I don't know. What do you think? So yeah, last night's show. Deb Galloway, good afternoon. Last night's show with Melanie and Professor Mike. It's funny, I can call them usually in the daytime and say, "You available tonight at 9 or 9:30?" And Mike Geary is always, boom, I'm in. And Melanie, as long as she doesn't have any familial duties, driving her kids around, she's all for it too. She's going to be a future, she already is, a YouTube superstar. She's a fantastic guest, a fantastic, knowledgeable attorney, and we love having her on the show. So yeah, it seems like BF, that's who we've been referring to as, even though her name's out in the public. She's going to be interviewed in Nevada by the attorneys and the investigator that represent Bryan Kohberger. And that could be just like a deposition. And they're questioning her on probably her statement or statements that she made to police, consistencies, inconsistencies, things she may have even said outside of interviews. So those are the things that, when they say exculpatory information, exculpatory evidence actually, those are the things they're going to want to know. Those are the things they're going to question her about. So, we just sort of point out on our show, and I think a lot of other people do, the evidence against Bryan Kohberger. A lot of people have a problem with the fact that they never found the knife, and anyone that commits a crime like that, the first thing they're going to get rid of is the murder weapon, So, big mistake leaving the knife sheath on the bed, on Zaina Knodl's bed. Absolutely. The fact that on the button to close it, I don't think she pled the fifth. I think that she didn't want to come back to Idaho for the deposition. If she agreed for the probable cause hearing, if she agreed to a deposition in Nevada, she's not pleading the fifth. She's going to talk to the investigators represented by her own attorney. So yeah, there's a lot of inaccuracies, I think, on YouTube. There's a lot of inaccuracies on television. It's funny. There's a station that that's one of the most watched stations, and the anchor put out breaking news story, and it was something we did 3 months ago. And I was like, isn't that deceptive? Calling something breaking news. Annie, good afternoon, Bill. Love your show. Been following for a while. Finally joined. Love your common sense. Always enjoy watching you. Annie, thank you very much. Always good to have new fans, new subscribers, new people that like us. You can't, something, you can't be in this life or doing anything. You can't be liked by everyone, I used to say that when I was a police sergeant. Look, I'm not for everyone. I'm a, Rick Borger, good to see you. Pauline Buckles, I'm an acquired taste, I'm not for everyone. So, sorry, I got a drink. It's pretty hot out. I've been spending all morning. We had to clean up the other condo and get all of our stuff out of it. And so we're pretty much in the new place, and it's a little bit exhausting when it's real hot out, moving stuff from back and forth, and so I'm not complaining, guys. Not complaining at all. Thank you, Rick Borger. Good to see you, buddy. 55 in the chat, 32 with the thumbs up, guys. If this is Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories, Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill. If you're not subscribed to us, please go on our YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and ring that bell. Ring my bell, ring my bell. Everyone that's around my age knows where that story came from, that song came from, right? The disco era. Some people used to hate disco. Kim Alliston, hey Sergeant, but thank you for the last night. Absolutely brilliant. Attorney Melanie Little, Professor Mike Geary, good addition to Police Off the Cuff. Little Morocco, thank you so much for the $50 super sticker with that. Is that a cat popping up on that sticker? Well, thank you so much. Very much appreciated. Legal Eagle, we know that song. Well, you're probably my age if you know that song. Diane Krause, good to see you. Milwaukee Civilian, Kim Alliston. Milwaukee Civilian, always good to have in the chat. You know, so this case, of course, and we always like to mention Ethan Chapin, Zaina Canolo, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonsalves. Those are the victims of this case, and we never like to call them the Idaho 4 or the Idaho case or the Bryan Kohberger case. Luna Morocco, thanks, thank you so much again. Supreme Commander, I let that one out of the bag. I gotta live with it now. But it's sort of funny whenever I hear someone say it, it makes me laugh. But yeah, you know, we never can forget that what this case is about is those 4 students, Ethan Chapin, Zaina Canolo, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonsalves. And the sting of losing a loved one in a violent way, in a murder, will be the last thought on your mind every night before you go to sleep, and the first thought on your mind every day when you wake up. It'll gnaw at you, and it'll never, the pain will never ever go away. And you know, having said that, I always remember, and you know, perhaps maybe I get a little bit overzealous being pro-prosecution, but I feel that Bryan Kohberger is the right guy. I truly do believe they have the right guy. And what you see now a lot of is people, not just on the defense, but people on television, people on the internet, people writing books, people writing, journalists writing articles. Char, hello, how are you? You see them trying to insert themselves in creating doubt. And, you know, it's a free country, they can do whatever they want. But I'd also like to remind people that Legal Eagle, I believe he is the right guy. Yes, I do too. We also have to realize that all of the evidence in this case has not been released, that the prosecution is holding back a great deal of evidence. Martha Miner, do you think BK really left the sheath? Absolutely, 100% he left the sheath. Is it coincidental that they matched his father's DNA to that? And then, of course, they matched his DNA to it. So, yeah, who else would have left it there? And I know the defense can, you know, can come up with numerous ways that it could have got there other than him murdering 4 people and leaving the knife sheath there. And, you know, there are people that try to paint Bryan Kohberger as being something that he's not. He's not a mastermind criminal. He wasn't even a PhD. He was working toward his PhD, you know. Yeah, well, you know, Deb Galloway, you know, I've stated a million times, probable cause is a low standard. Probable cause are facts and circumstances that would allow a reasonable person to believe that a crime has been committed and the person arrested committed the crime. That's all probable cause is, all right? It's not beyond a reasonable doubt. It's not in fact committed. It's not preponderance of evidence. It's what I just said, facts and circumstances that would allow a reasonable person to believe that a crime has been committed and the person arrested committed the crime. Does anyone out there right now believe under that definition that I just cited twice that Bryan Kohberger doesn't at least, that the police don't at least have probable cause? Is there anyone in the chat? If you believe that, let me hear from you. Let me hear from you. And I don't think there's anyone even, or detractors out there that think that the police didn't have probable cause. You know what we just noticed last night? The Papa Smurf, the OG, you believe that the jury will find guilty Bryan Kohberger of all charges. Well, that remains to be seen. And we also don't know, a jury can do anything. We don't know what a jury's going to do. Even in the slam dunk cases, or you think slam dunk cases, look at O.J. Simpson. To me, in my mind, that was a slam dunk case, and the jury voted not guilty. You know, and talk about evidence. There was so much evidence, but I think the jury had a problem with a lot of things in that case. And in my opinion, it was something called jury nullification. That if they would have had a videotape of O.J. committing the murders, they still wouldn't have convicted him. It was just, I think it was just those California juries. I don't know. Now I'm going to get all kinds of hate from California. What do you mean? Well, sometimes they do outrageous things. You know, we saw a couple of other high-profile cases where they found the individual on trial, the guy who played Beretta. He beat a murder case, you know, and it seemed like there was tons of evidence against him. Robert Blake, Beretta. I used to call one of my cops an anti-crime Beretta because he was always out in the street talking to people, and which is good. It's a good thing, but I used to break his chops and call him Beretta. Who do you think you are, Beretta? And again, I'm showing my age, because how long ago was that damn show on, right? Danny Masterson's first trial was a hung jury. The love of God. Good afternoon, Richella Pranzo. Great to see you. You and Lieutenant Pete, two of the biggest police off-the-cuff fans. Coffee with cannon, backyard beverage, whatever you want to call it. We are here. What do you guys think of the scenery behind me? Pretty cool, right? All these palm trees. I wonder where the family of Phil Lahita guy, the prosecution in the O.J. Simpson case, did a terrible job. Yeah, I mean, I think that they were up against a lot. They were up against a celebrity. They were up against the dream team of attorneys. F. Lee Bailey, you know, a legend in his time. Johnny Cochran, Robert Shapiro. I would have loved to have seen what was the bill. Carmelita, my mom loved Beretta and Kojak. She even had the Kojak doll. Who loves you, baby? Right? He was always sucking on a lollipop, Kojak. That was his line. Who loves you, baby? Right? Richella Pranzo, I wish the paparazzi were here to catch a celebrity sighting of you. Milwaukee civilian says that about Richella Pranzo. So Richella's a celebrity, absolutely. Truth Seeker Chris on the other channel reminds me of Columbo by the way he talks. Yeah, but you know something? I just, he actually was the reporter I was referring to that did a show the other night, breaking news, and it was something we did 3 months ago. And I just think that's unfair that the news stations, breaking news, and then they report it, and you're like, how was any of that breaking? We, on our channel, Police Off the Cuff, spoke about that 3 months ago. How are you saying it's breaking news? You know? And and a lot of them do it. You know, a lot of them do it. So, in this case, too, against Bryan Kohberger, there's so much electronic evidence. Cell phones, right? And not just cell site pings, but phone calls, text messages. Milwaukee breaking news. How about broken news? Legal. I didn't get the whole message. I was starting to read it, but sometimes goes by too fast. I just want to mention also Madeline Kingsbury. It's actually today's 28 days she's been missing. Tragic case. I don't know where they are in the investigation. We spoke about it early on, who we thought, of course, is responsible for her being missing. And could take a long time to charge the person who they believe is responsible for her being missing. And at what point is she determined to be deceased? What do they need to prove that? Maya Malete in California. They arrested her husband. Her body has never. Misdemeanor that is able to compromise the case. If it was something that didn't release from duty, it shouldn't be able to be raised, surely. I was trying to read that fast. Maya Malete, They never found her body. And her husband is being charged with the murder of Maya. So again, a circumstantial case. We talk about circumstantial cases all the time. That from which inferences are drawn. That is a circumstantial case. Sergeant George Eshog, good to see you. 86 people in the chat, 53 with the thumbs up. Yeah, so, say a prayer for the family of Madeline Kingsbury. That's Sister Megan, who's been the voice of the family. The whole family is absolutely heartbroken. And what do you do now? Rick Borger, yes, I'm wondering where the family of ducks is. The last time I did a live here, the ducks kept getting on camera. They kept walking back and forth. Legal Eagle. Yeah, supposedly there's an officer on the Bryan Kohberger case that has some kind of issue with him. They call it a Giglio case. We don't know what that is. We don't know what the issue is. Did he have some off-duty conduct? Is it something he did on duty? Is it something discovery that he didn't turn over? What was the issue that they found about this officer? A lot of these things, of course, are attempts at creating doubt. They want to create doubt in this case, and so they go wherever they have to. Phil Hidegard, ducks are like chiefs. They love to be in the camera shot. Sergeant George Esog, circumstantial case, absolutely. It's a circumstantial case against Bryan Kohberger. Look at the Alec Murdaugh case. The whole case was circumstantial, right? And near the end of the case, we found out about the video the son made that proved to be such a powerful piece of evidence against him. And he said it himself, and I thought it was it's almost proof, almost like a Freudian slip, when he said, "What a tangled web we weave when we choose to deceive." That came right out of Alec's mouth, I mean, did he mean to say that, or was that just something, a Freudian slip that came out of his mouth, So guys, now we have, of course, the defense team for Bryan Kohberger going to go to Nevada to interview BF, and she'll give her statement, and she won't have to face Bryan Kohberger in the probable cause hearing. So, of course, everyone wants Bryan Kohberger to get a fair trial, and they also want to make sure that everything he's entitled to in way of his rights to confront witnesses against him, all of those things are adhered to. We don't mean to imply that the witnesses, he shouldn't be allowed to cross-examine witnesses against him. It's just questioning as to when. Do these witnesses belong in a probable cause hearing? David Kahn, Mark DeMeo is doing well in Vegas. He's still doing a podcast with Angel Masonette on Mondays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's called The Week in Crime with Mayo and Meso. I know Mark sort of started a new life in Vegas. He got a job. He's living in a house. He's got a backyard pool. I wish him all the luck in the world, Why not? Why not try something new, And that's what he's doing. So yes, so the defense team from Bryan Kohberger is going to go to Nevada to interview BF. Doesn't that make more sense, guys, than to bring her to Idaho to confront Bryan Kohberger in a probable cause hearing? Obviously, she's been traumatized. Many people, when we say that, a lot of people online that are the hardcore, he should get a fair trial. Of course he should get a fair trial, but does that mean re-traumatizing the witnesses at a probable cause hearing. Let's bring the witnesses in when and if there's a trial, not to a probable cause hearing. And look, maybe even the defense agreed with that because they're going to Nevada to interview BF, right? They're going to Nevada. So it's not, you know, as everyone says, she didn't take the fifth. She's not disobeying a subpoena. The judge agreed that she should be interviewed. It's just the venue that she's going to be interviewed at. What college has travel money? Well, this would have to be paid for by the defense. The defense or the prosecution, whoever calls that witness, would have to pay for their travel, their hotels, everything, their meals, if they're going to bring them there. It does. The witnesses' expenses do not have to be borne by them. It has to be borne by whoever calls them. The defense, the prosecution, if they're out of state, they have to pay for it. So that's the case in there. Fire Opal, hello. Lug, L-U-G, please don't forget to smash that like button. Thank you. Phil the Heater Guy, the love of God. You know, Melanie had mentioned last night, and I maybe hadn't thought of this that much, but that we need to also realize that Bryan Kohberger's family, who, as far as we all know, are innocent of anything in regards to this case. And we need to actually keep them in our thoughts and prayers too. They're going through a tremendously tough time. Both his sisters lost their jobs over this. Apparently the family is going, Angela F. Bill, coming up on 2 years for Summer Wells, thoughts. You know, Angela F., I said from day one, and I still believe this, that Candace and Don are responsible for her being missing. 100%. I think they are the culprits, but it doesn't seem that they can prove it. The police there weren't able to crack them, despite polygraph tests, interviews, interrogations. Midwest Equus searched for Summer Wells. Dave Rader. I spoke to Dave Rader, and Dave Rader has thoughts on that case that sort of align with ours. He doesn't think she was ever missing that day, that, you know, someone whisked her off, someone that knows her, you know. Fire Opal, that's terrible. Well, going back to the Bryan Kohberger, the Coburger family, yeah, we have to feel sorry for them. They didn't do anything, right? Sometimes in the criminal world, you get guilt to association. Oh, but they raised him, they created him. Well, you can have someone in your family who's mentally ill. Did you cause that? You know, someone in your family who's an alcoholic or a drug addict. Did you cause that? No. I mean, it's the old argument of nature or nurture, right? What is it? Vet Girl, hello, how are you? 95 in the chat, 73 with the thumbs up. Thank you guys for joining me on this beautiful Thursday. As I told everyone, tomorrow I'm leaving, going back. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. I want to wake up in a city that never sleeps. That's a hard song to sing, to stay on pitch if there's no instrument to keep you in key, you know. These little town blues are melting away right through the very part of it. New York, New York. If I can't make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you. New York, New York. I didn't realize Ed Wallace sings. Everyone tells me on this channel, Ed Wallace. I went off key there a little bit. It's hard. That's a hard song to sing. If you don't have an instrument giving you the right pitch, that's a hard one for some reason. You know, when I was younger, I used to think Frank Sinatra. Oh my God, he's terrible. Then as I got older, I was like, wow, this guy is a really good singer. And like just to sing and sing in rhythm and in pitch, and the right inflections, putting the lyrics with the melody and stuff. It's not an easy thing. You know who, like when you talk about phrasing in songs, and if any of you guys are Van Morrison fans, Van Morrison sometimes will phrase the words not in exactly the right place, but it works. You know why? Because he's Van Morrison. He can do it whatever the hell he wants, and sometimes he'll sing his songs differently on different occasions. So Bob Dylan does that a lot too, you know. So it's, you know, but these guys are pros. They can put the words where they want to, and it still works for some reason. And you say, wow, he sang it differently than he did the last time. How is that possible? The way they're putting the words, it's amazing to me. You know, one of the reasons I really like doing this show, the Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage Bitching with Bill, and Lula Morocco, why can't I ever remember what you call it? But I like doing it because it's lighter. I get to almost just have a conversation with you guys, and it feels so much easier to do than just, you know, of course the other shows are much more serious, much more preparation, much more at stake, where I can sit here and be myself and talk to you guys, and it seems like it's wow. Sharon creates. Morris is doing a concert soon with his daughter, East Coast area. I love Van Morrison, although I will say this, I think he's one of the greatest songwriters probably that ever lived, one of the greatest, but he's not great in concert. He's not great to see live. Moondance. It's a marvelous night for a moon dance with the stars all above in the sky. A fantabulous night to make romance neath the cover of October skies. And all the leaves on the trees are falling to the sound of the breezes that blow. And I'm dying to please to the calling of your heartstrings that they force and low. And all the night's magic seems to whisper and shine, and all the soft moonlight seems to shine in your bluff. Can I just have one more moon dance with you, my love? Can I just make some more romance with you, my love? I'm not going to sing the whole thing. Good tune. Very good tune. Sort of like a jazz thing. Bum, 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 bum. Thank you, Daphne. 103 in the chat, 80 in the thumbs up. Annie, thank you, Annie. Well done, sir. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Van the man, they call him, you know, and a great Irish musician, right? And I don't know if any of you guys remember, there was a great Irish blues guitarist by the name of Rory Gallagher, and in Ireland they say it Gallagher. But he died very young. He died at like the age of 47. The guy was a beast. He was one of the best blues guitarists. In fact, the Rolling Stones auditioned him to be their guitarist, and I think Keith Richards was a little bit intimidated at his playing, and he didn't get the gig with the Stones. But Rory Gallagher, there's a street in Dublin named after Rory Gallagher in Temple Bar area, and I happen to have listened to Rory Gallagher a lot, and he was one hell of a guitarist, but died too young, 47 years old. Shari Boyle, good to see you. You must be Irish, Shari. That's an Irish name, Boyle. Truth Seeker, yes, Dean Martin. I want some red roses for a blue lady. Send them to the sweetest gal in town. Dean Martin. Everyone had that rumor that he was always drunk. He wasn't drunk. What was his act, right? Jerry Springer passed away, was 79. Yeah, I saw that. Too young, right? Jerry Springer. Wow. He had those reality, the crazy shows that's given birth to a lot of them, you know. JJ, big fan of Rory. I'm Irish. Rick Board, you know. JJ, you know something? At least I found one fan in the chat that knows who Rory Gallagher is. He wasn't like a mainstream guy, but was a unbelievable blues guitarist, you know. Irish blues guitarist. Truth Seeker, you love Jerry Springer's show? Well, it gave birth to a lot of them, you know, a lot of different shows. I can't even think of it. I can't watch them, you know. Uh, Milwaukee Civilian was on a plane with Jerry Springer 25 years ago. Annie. Roy Gallagher was a legend. Milwaukee Civilian, glad you know your music. He was a beast, right? What a guitar player, man. I saw him one time at a place on Long Island, and he came out with his Martin, and he played some tune by Leadbelly, and it was in a different tuning, and he was like, "Who was a famous cowboy ever in the USA? When me and a bunch of cowboys went into Jesse James, kick-a-ya, yippee-ya, yippee-yay." I always remember that tune. That was, what was the most famous battle ever fought in the USA? What was the most famous battle ever fought in the USA? Kick-a-ya, yippee-ya, yippee-yay. That was, it was written by Leadbelly, an old-time blues guitarist, but Rory Gallagher did it, and he did slide, you know, it was amazing. Daphne, yeah, Joe Bonamassa is a hell of a player. He's a great player, you know. JJ, I was a teenager in the 60s, got to see a lot of legends. Yes, Dean Martin. He was part of the Rat Pack, right? Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., and I'm missing somebody. Who am I missing, guys? The Rat Pack, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra. Was it Jerry Lewis? Oh, he was Dean Martin's. He was his sidekick. They did a their comedy routine. Kim Allison, I introduced you to Bob Dylan and Van Morrison. Kim, I thought you knew them without me, but they have some great tunes, you know. Yeah, I mean, Van the Man, Pablo Cicada, good to see you, buddy. Pauline Buckles and Peter Lawford was the fourth guy. You're right. So it was Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr. and Peter Lawford. That's right. That's right. That's the four, right? Not bad. I had 3 out of 4. I couldn't think of missing Rat Packer, Peter Lawford. Yes, you guys. Some of you guys are on top of it. I got 3 out of 4 though. Do I get any credit for that? Extra credit? I didn't. I didn't have the 4th. Peter Lawford was married to a Kennedy. Isn't that correct? I believe that's correct, right? I don't know which one, but he was married to a Kennedy. So, Sergeant Bill brought this lady out of her bubble, Kim Alliston. Well, thank you. Kim, thank you for all you do. Thank you for being a moderator. Thank you for being here every day. So, guys, tomorrow I start the trek home. It's like back in the day, the wagon wheels and the horses and going through Indian country. Not quite. But I'm going to take my time. I'm coming home, I done my time, and I got to know who is and isn't mine. But yeah, so last time I drove with my son, this time I'm driving all by me lonesome. Going to take the trek across the country. Tie a yellow ribbon, Daphne. Thank you, Ruth Ann. Thank you so much. Carmelita, bring the warm weather with you, please. Carmelita, I love that name, Carmelita. What a nice name. Carmelita, is that Italian? Spanish? What is that? What's the ethnic background of Carmelita? It could be Italian, right? But more likely it's Spanish, right? Hispanic, I should say. Carmelita. Sounds like you should have your own song, Carmelita. I wish I had a song that I could sing for you, but you can always put it into another, you know. Oh, Carmelita, I love you. I'm always thinking of you. Sometimes I wish that I had never met you. Oh, Carmelita, your father was Puerto Rican. Very proud people. Great name, I love that name. My name is Carmen, but he called me, well, Lita is little, right? So little Carmen, right? That's what it, Carmelita, right? Little Carmen. So nice, so very nice. Everyone has pet names. I was the king of inventing nicknames for people. Sometimes people didn't like it. There was this guy I worked with in street crime. His name was Tony DeMarco. and this was 1988. And Tony DeMarco was like 6'5", like 265, 70 pounds, solid muscle. He was always wearing those Gold's Gym and the Powerhouse gym shirts. And I named him Mongo. And to this day, people call him Mongo. And he even revoked me on Facebook. He goes, yo, Bill, he goes, that name Mongo stuck. He goes, people still call me Mongo. I said, hey, that's great, man. It was a good name for you, you know. It stuck for, God, long time, man. Mongo. Good name, right? There's a guy in the 2-3 squad, Johnny D'Alessio, and we called him Carmine. And I started calling him Carmine. And next thing you know, the whole squad, everyone's calling him Carmine, you know. And he accepted the name. But funny, you know. Sometimes you have a knack for naming people. Carmelita made my day, Bill. Thank you, press, for safe travel. Thank you, Carmelita. Don't give Mongo no beans. Mongo didn't need any beans. He was 6'5", 275, 280. Solid muscle. Yes, I get extra credit, Annie. Thank you. You fill up my senses like a night in the forest, like the mountains in springtime, like a soft summer rain. You fill up my senses. I don't remember all the words. That was John Denver. Annie. That was it was called Annie's song. Annie, do you remember that? Annie, thank you so much. Vicky O'Quinn, thank you. I do too. I'm going to safe drive, try to take stops, and when I'm too tired, I'll just call it a day, you know. It's going to be strange. I haven't been home in a while, you know. John Denver also died very young, right? He really died young. It's a shame, you know. John Denver wrote some good tunes, man. He wrote some really good tunes. Thank God I'm a country boy. Remember he said that? After all, High Supreme Commander and friends. Legal-minded friends, Karen Cole, have a safe trip. Thank you, legal-minded friends. Thank you. Daphne, yeah, a plane crash, yeah. That's terrible, right? Stevie Ray Vaughan, too. He died in a helicopter crash, you know. Everyone tells me that, Phil, the heater guy, Virginia is not a place you want to speed. I heard they don't accept Master Shield either. In other words, they'll write another cop. They don't care. I find that to be terrible. I always I always have given courtesy to other cops from any jurisdiction, you know. Thank you, Kim. Yeah, so, yeah, I'll be heading home, and, you know, with GPS these days, it makes it so much easier too, right? And my son put the woman's voice in my GPS. He tricked me. It's a woman. You're good at naming, Sergeant Bill. Remember perpology. After all, that's right. That's right. So my son put a woman with an English accent doing my GPS. So I have him to blame for that. But it's when I hear it, I think of my son, and it's okay. But it's sort of funny. I think Linda Ronstadt, Carmelita song, Color Me Abstract. Wow. 94 in the chat, 95 with the thumbs up. Shari Boss, Jim Croce, love Jim Croce, man. Love Jim Croce. Operator, when would you help me play this song? You see the number on the matchbook is old and faded. We're living in LA with my best old ex-friend Ray. I guess she said she knew well but sometimes hated. Isn't that the way they say it goes? Well, let's forget all that. Give me the number if you can find it, so I can go just to tell them I'm fine and to show I've overcome the glow. I learned to take it well, just to convince myself that it just wasn't real, because that's not the way it feels. Operator, good tune, right? Now his wife is, she's from Key West. She has a restaurant down in Key West. He died, man, he died way too young, right? Legal-minded friends, yeah, a lot of places there's I've heard in other Mexico the police are ridiculous in certain places. They out and out rob people, you know. But hey, I wouldn't go to Mexico now if you paid me, you know, with all the cartels, with all the craziness. My son's friend was at a resort, sitting in an outdoor cafe, and there was like a hit in the outdoor cafe. They just sprayed a few people with gunfire in the cafe. Nice place to be, right? Phil the Heater Guy, 99 in the chat, 101 with the thumbs up, guys. I'm gonna be off the air probably for 4 or 5 days, but I'm looking forward to doing my first show when I come back to the Northeast. If you're traveling in the North Country Fair, where the wind hits heavy on the borderline, remember me to one who lives there, 'cause she was once a true love of mine. And if you go where the snowflakes fall and the rivers freeze and the summer ends, please see for me she has a coat so warm to keep her from the howling winds. So if you're traveling in the North Country Fair, if you guys haven't heard the duet of Bob Dylan and Johnny Cash singing that song, it's called Woman of the North Country, or the North Country, and Bob Dylan sings a duet with Johnny Cash that is just gives you chills. It's so good. It's so good, you know. 93 in the chat, 104 with the thumbs up, guys. This is Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories, Backyard Beverage, Bitching with Bill, Coffee with Cannon. If you're not subscribed, go on our YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell, make comments. I love to read your comments. And if you're not subscribed to us, we have on our Patreon, you want to support us financially, we have 3 different levels, and we also have the YouTube channel membership with, count them, 5 different levels, and you can support us on our YouTube channel, and you see the folks in the green font. They are our subscribers, our friends, our fans. Guys, I'm coming up on 47 minutes, 30 seconds. Wow. I want to start saying my legal-minded friend, your daughter leaves for Thailand. Wow, tremendous adventure, right? Guys, I want to thank everyone for coming by today. I just sometimes have to come on and say hello again. On the road again. I can't wait to get on the road again. The life I love is singing music with my friends. And I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. Going places that I've never been. Seeing things that I may never see again. And I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. I'll be singing that tomorrow, right? I'll be doing that, singing that tomorrow. So, guys, thank you all for your blessings, for your prayers, for your wishes, wishing me safe travels. Thank you so much. Joel D4, you love us and we love you too. Thank you so much. I had to say hello, goodbye, and to all my friends, fans today. And tomorrow I'll be hitting the road, not that early. I'm going to leave about 8 o'clock in the morning. Take a leisurely mosey 95 north, up 95 north. I was going to say down 95 north, but I'm going to say up 95 north. Rochella, good to see you. Erica Olsen, Dave Souza. Well, look at all these folks in the chat. My God. Guys, thank you so much for coming by today. Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. God bless everybody. You know, as Duty Ron always says at the end of his show, God bless everyone. God bless crime victims. God bless the people that we deal with on a daily basis. Have a great day, everyone. Bye now.